Now, during every election season, there is a push to gain support from specific groups, like the Latino vote, the Black vote. But those groups are not monolithic, and they change as population grows. Tonight, we begin an in-depth series of stories by WFAA's Brittany Moncrief, delving into the relevancy of the Black vote and whether it's changed. Tonight, Brittany speaks with Black voters about what it means to be civically engaged and how that has transformed over the decades.
For years,
I think we're next.
Dr. Pamela Grayson has waited for this moment.
Texas!
She is a first-time delegate at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago.
263 votes of freedom!
A role she does not take lightly.
And one of those votes is mine, baby.
Just 60 short years ago, Fannie Lou Hamer was fighting with Congress because the Democrats would not seat the Black Democrats. And today I'm here as a Black Democrat.
But no matter party lines,
The number one effort is voter registration and voting.
the focus is civic engagement.
I don't think there is one definition for civic engagement.
One, having an awareness of the history.
Understanding your responsibility and being accountable.
Being actively involved, voting, knowing the issues.
Dorothy Burton
I'm politically homeless. I don't have a political party.
is a former Republican of over 40 years.
I became involved in politics when I was 13 years old.
She understood early on what it means to be civically engaged.
Because the most precious thing that we have is our vote.
Burton was Duncanville's first Black city council member, elected after a movement to create an at-large seat on the council. An at-large seat erases district lines, allowing the entire city to vote instead of only people in a particular district. Ultimately, it strengthened the voting power of minorities spread across Duncanville.
It didn't matter that I was Republican, it didn't matter. What mattered was I was Black and Duncanville was white. That's when it became possible for African Americans and Hispanics to be involved here. So I was the first one. I didn't do it for me at all, but it was the right thing to do. Click on Am I Registered?
A calling
Click on Your Ballot.
that drives her to get other Black voters engaged.
Texas is an apartheid state, meaning that Texas is a majority minority state, but we are governed by whites.
U.S. Census data shows in July of 2023, whites made up about 39.6% of Texas population. Hispanics or Latino, 39.8%, outnumbering the number of whites. Blacks are 13.6%, and Asians, 6%, which leads some to wonder if the Black vote is relevant at all in Texas.
If we would just speak to the issues that our community has, no one would ever be able to ask that question.
Michael Sorrell is not only Paul Quinn College president,
You go to the polls and you write in that third line.
he teaches here.
Because we are very clear, we want to speak to the issues of Black and brown poverty, right? If we speak to those issues, then yes, we become more relevant, more impactful.
Pew Research Center predicts by November, Black voters will account for 14% of eligible voters in the U.S. We're talking 34.4 million voters.
That 14%, 5% of that 14% can sway the...
Research also shows that while Hispanic and Asian populations are growing faster in the U.S., the number of Black voters is still higher and climbing.
What's working in our favor is tradition. The other groups don't have that yet, but we still have the tradition coming from the civil rights movement. We still have the tradition coming from the Black church.
Let us be very, very clear. People still need us.
That's a message Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price shares. He's been in politics over 40 years.
We're only 22% of the 2.7 million people in the county, we represent a considerable block voting force. We were glad to have you today.
He says what has changed is how we engage voters. That's why he's been teaching seniors how to use electronic ballots.
We've got to show that we are accessible because the young generation needs to understand this is about sacrifice.
As Black parents, we don't get our children actively involved in the political process early. We don't talk to them about the issues, we don't take them to the poll, but then at 18 years old, we tell them, you gotta go vote. Well, what am I gonna go vote for?
You got power. And the power is in your hand. All you gotta do is use it.
I'm a delegate!
Not only is Dr. Grayson using her power,
We already cast our vote!
she's teaching her son about his too.
I had a medical appointment, he had football practice, I had another meeting to go through. It all got shifted. Because if I need to go to this event and get people registered to vote, that's where we go.
Putting her civic duties first.
Those that came before me, they walked so I could ride. And they've sustained their own battles, but they still have a heart for those of us that come behind them. Yeah, that's meaningful.
In Dallas, I'm Brittany Moncrief.
Tonight was just the beginning of Brittany's series of stories. Over the next week, she will also do a deep dive into the role of Black churches in voting and what Black voters mean to campaign fundraising.